There was a time when I thought I wouldn't even reach 40. I'll be celebrating my 60th at the end of this year. Really is a miracle, to be honest. It was in my second year of A levels. I contracted a virus. So I used to do a lot of jogging, running marathons, and things like this. The symptoms were chronic fatigue, extremely tired, couldn't do a lot. If I tried to do something, I would have to rest. No energy at all, low feeling of moods, completely lost hope because the doctor said if I recover, it would probably be only 50%, probably stay pretty much like that for the rest of my life. It was crazy. So to be told this when I was about 20, I think completely dashed all my hopes. Had to take a pause in my life from all kind of physical activities and sports, even from my education. All the hopes of going to university like everybody else was doing all crashed. I'm Zeenat Syed, and some years ago, I was told I would end up in a wheelchair. I had no energy. I had a lot of pain in my back. I had very poor concentration. I was anemic, and I would lose my vision up to an hour at a time, which was so scary. Now, I don't have any of those issues. I have so much energy. I have no pain. I'm no longer anemic, and I have no longer any vision losses. And I'm aging healthily. My life has been transformed.
Wow, so this interview is actually a really, really good one. And actually, just before we go forward, if you wouldn't mind, please do hit the subscribe button and do the notifications as well. It's really going to help my channel to grow, so I really, really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's get on with the interview. Thank you for watching. Hi, so what is your name? And if you wouldn't mind revealing about how many years young are you?
Thank you so much, Mo, for inviting me. So I am Zeenat Syed. I'm based here in London, and I am 59 years of old.
59 years
Yes.
old, not young. Okay.
Young. Okay. Yes. Young. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're perpetually young anyway. And I do believe what you say is that you feel a lot better going into your 60s now than you did like
Yes.
maybe 20 years ago. Is that kind of right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think there was a time when I thought I wouldn't even reach 40. And to be here and I'll be celebrating my 60th at the end of this year, it's just kind of really amazing. Really is a miracle, to be honest. Yeah.
Wow. So about 20 years ago, you probably wouldn't have even thought that you would be at this, approaching 60.
I had not hope to get over 40.
No hope to get over 40. Okay, in that case, let's get started. So,
Yeah.
where did your health kind of issues start in life? Around about what age and what were they?
So I was around the late teenage life, like a normal teenager, studying, looking forward to, completing my A levels, going into university. And what happened, it was in my second year of A levels, I contracted a virus. And I used to be a very athletic person. So I used to walk marathons, I used to do a lot of jogging, running marathons, and things like this. But all of a sudden, after this, it was like a flu type symptoms virus that I completely had to take a pause in my life from all kind of physical activities and sports, even from my education, and all the hopes of going to university like everybody else was doing all crashed because my health crashed. And it was a very, very critical time for me because as a late teenager, I wanted to be with all my friends, doing everything, what we were doing, and planning our lives and things, but I had to take a back seat.
So Zena, so it started with a flu, but
Yep.
it had this massive effect. Like, so it was clearly more than just a flu. So what actually were your symptoms?
Well, the symptoms were chronic fatigue, extremely tired, couldn't do a lot. If I tried to do something, I would have to rest. No energy at all, low feeling of moods, completely lost hope because the doctor said that if I recover, it would probably be only 50%, and I'll probably stay pretty much like that for the rest of my life. And that was not a good diagnosis to have at
Um,
the age of around 18.
yeah, so you were 18, you kind of caught the flu, and then it clearly developed into something far more serious. Probably you noticed after what, a couple of weeks, or how long before you
Yes,
started going to see the doctor?
about a couple of weeks because the symptoms were just not shifting.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then, yeah,
And then the doctor just basically said, "Oh, well, actually, it's something more serious, and
yes,
you might possibly get 50% better, but that's probably the best
yeah,
he would hope for, right?"
yes,
Crazy.
absolutely. It was crazy. It was crazy. So to be told this, that I may not get better more than 50%, completely dashed all my hopes and dreams, and and I just didn't know what kind of a life I would be living, you know.
Did he say
Kind of,
what condition it was that he thought it was?
yes. So in those days, it was known as post-viral fatigue syndrome, which then had another name, chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME. And yeah, in those days it wasn't really known much about in detail. Kind of like they used to call it the yuppie flu, and people who are kind of very much in the fast lane get it and things like this. But there weren't really a lot of studies and a lot of research done around that time. So I think even they didn't know a lot about it at that time as much as the information that's out there now. Yeah.
Right. So that would have been about 40 years ago. So kind of
Yes.
the early 80s, basically.
Yeah.
And wow, so I would have been about maybe 6 or 7, which is interesting. I like to relate back to my life,
Yeah.
and what I was doing at the time. But yeah, I imagine that. So an ME, that's
Mhm.
I think it's myalgic encephalitis. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes,
Right.
correct.
And was that kind of an emerging condition back then?
There were some cases, but again, I don't think they really knew a lot about it. It was
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, it was emerging. So I think a lot of studies and researches and everything were done after that. Yeah, yeah.
Right, right. And okay, and so that was kind of while when you were 18, and then
Mhm.
how did you like develop through life with this condition?
Yes. So I put a pause to my education. I couldn't do any more studying. I couldn't concentrate a lot. I couldn't physically have the energy to do the things that was used to doing before. I went into probably a depression around that time, because I couldn't see my way out. I felt not understood by the doctors or even family members or my friends around me, and it was really something quite. It was like what questioning myself. What do I do next? How shall I come out of this? It was a very difficult time for me. I'd suffered a lot also from digestive complaints. So I was eating foods and wasn't digesting them well. And that kind of urged me to look at alternative health, um, and also to get myself more investigated because I felt my GP and my doctor was not doing enough. So I took, in a way, my health in my own hands, and I took a
Okay.
trip. I took a trip to an allergy clinic, and they told me that I was allergic to every single food that I was eating. And the only foods that I would be allowed to have were pears, and 4 other foods were meat and fish products, and I was a vegetarian. And they said they would treat me if I could just stick to these 5 foods. But I refused because I couldn't bring myself to eat the meat products. I was a vegetarian. So came back from that clinic, and my dad had taken me actually, which when I was around, I think just in my 20s, when I was about 20, I think, yeah. And came back crying on the train back from Manchester, coming back from this clinic, being told the results. And the diagnosis was that if I didn't do the treatment that they asked me to, I'll probably have 5 years to live.
And what were they? So, go back to the diet for a second. So
Mm,
basically, you could only eat a certain amount of foods, but most of it was meat, and that basically left only pears, was it, or something?
yes,
Right. Okay. So I mean, I think for the audience there, could you imagine like you're facing a life where you can only eat pears, right?
exactly.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then what was the actual procedure, or what was the thing that they were wanting you to do?
So it would be a rotation diet between pears and this for meat products and fish, a rotation diet, and then there would be some treatment through a medicine that they would give me as well. Again, to be honest, I don't remember a lot at that time because I was quite young. It's many years ago now. But that was the kind of the treatment plan, and I would have to stay on this rotation diet for long term. That's what I was told, and I couldn't bring myself to doing it. So I decided I'm not going to do that, and became stubborn about it. And I just felt deep down inside that there was another way, and I didn't want to believe that I would have only 5 years to live. And that fear that was put in me by them, that if I didn't do what they asked me to do, I'd have only 5 years to live, which was really, uh, I was living in anxiety. Yeah.
Let me pause you there.
Hmm.
That to be told in your mid-20s or your early 20s that you might only have 5 years to live, how soul destroying must that have felt? Like that must have really killed your spirit, right?
Yes. No hope to live, no hope because I felt not understood by anybody. My family members were even questioning about this illness, whether it's real or not. My friends, I lost all my friends because my friends went on to university. They were doing really well. I was left at home to just really think about this, how it was going. It was very soul destroying, very soul destroying.
Wow, and yeah, just like and then as you say, like even your family just weren't really kind of sympathetic
Yeah,
and really understanding. So you must have felt quite lonely as well. Yeah.
very lonely.
Yeah.
I was very, very lonely around that time, definitely.
So what made you decide I mean, a lot of people would have been, they might have even considered like, maybe just what's the point of even living, right? At
Yes,
that
I,
point.
I, I I was there. I was there myself.
And what changed for you then?
Again, God. I was a believer in God, and I prayed. I just prayed to God to find me ways to get better, and my journey started. Initially, it started by just reading more around alternative therapies and holistic therapies. And I spent time in the health food shops, shopping for my food there instead of the supermarkets, trying to eat healthier. That's what I was focusing on. Drinking more water again. That's what I was focusing on as well. And a bit by bit, I got guided to different people who were either holistic or alternative practitioners. So I would get treated by them. So I would have homeopathy. I've had Chinese herbal medicine and acupuncture. I've had nutritional therapy help. I've sat in cold water baths for a professor who was doing a paper on what cold water baths can help with ME and chronic fatigue in London. I sat in cold water baths for about 6 months.
Mm.
So that's how I kind of went about my life, that I was making sure that I was boosting myself up. Whatever it took to bring my energy up, I was trying it out. But still, I was not progressing more than 50%.
Right. So
And that's where my
you tried a million different kind of like alternative
exactly,
things, and like sitting in cold water baths and seeing specialists and all
yes,
sorts of things, and just nothing was really getting you more than about 50% better, right? And
exactly.
over what kind of time period was that?
So that would have been from anywhere from that age of 20 when I went to the allergy clinic, right up to about 12 years ago.
Right, up to about 12
Oh,
years ago.
yes.
Okay.
So I would say up to the age of around 45.
Yeah. Okay. Which is basically my age now,
Yeah.
right?
So I would say about 25 plus years went like that. Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing because
Yeah.
um I mean I feel pretty good at this kind of age now, but
Yeah.
to feel the way you describe now and to have been like that for 25 years, that would definitely, I mean I had um a horrible health incident as I turned 30, but if I was to feel like that now and to have last, yeah, that would have really killed me, if I was still feeling like that now. Okay, so then about 12 years ago, you discovered something different. And what was the what happened there?
So basically, I was driving to take my daughter to school because I couldn't walk a lot anywhere. So basically, I would be driving to places, and that would avoid me walking around a lot. So I would be driving her to school, and on the way back, I remember crying in the car. I cried all the way back in the car, thinking that nobody's going to see or hear me crying anyway. And I cried, and I was so tired. I was so tired in my body. I ached everywhere. I had pain in my spine, which they had actually told me it was wear and tear stage 4. I was very anemic most of my life as well. And it was very, very, I was just tired of being tired all the time, basically. I had made a prayer in the car that day, I believe so. And I made a prayer to God that guide me to something or someone who can give me more energy, just so that I can do what I needed to do on a day to day for my children, for my home, for my husband, and just survive, really. That was my hope, was just to survive. It wasn't even to plan how I would be, even, next month or next year or whatever. It was literally surviving day to day. Yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
was.
Wow. And
And after that prayer, a friend of mine in the community approached me, gave me a call, and said, "Hey, you know something? I've had some really great results with my health, and my energy level shot up. I've had great results with sciatica, type 1 diabetes, that she was as well. Why don't you just have a look at it? Because you've tried everything that you can think of, and maybe this might be something different." And initially, I was a bit skeptical because I thought, well, you know something, I have tried a lot of things out there, some of the very best stuff. How can this powder a supplement that you're telling me can make any difference. But when I learned something about it,
Have you watched enough of these interviews to know that actually maybe it's worth just taking the next step? Well, it's a great decision, especially with our 30-day money back guarantee. Like literally, you can give it a really good go, meaning that you're going to wind up with empty cans of product anyway. And you can send those empty cans back to the company and no quibble, no fuss, no messing about. The company are just going to send you your money back. So it won't even have cost you anything to try it. But you know what? If you've watched enough of these interviews, you know that it's worth trying for 30 days. So let's get you started. Just in the eye there, or in the description below, or at the end of the video, there's going to be a video entitled Next Steps, How to Buy. Something like that. So without further ado, just go ahead and click and find that video. Otherwise, let's just get back to the interview.
you see, I had been seeing a nutritional coach for about, probably at that time, when I found out about this, it was probably around 20 years. And I'd followed every diet this nutritionist told me. I took tons of supplements, some of the very best makes and supplements that money could buy. I would just spend it on that. And I thought, well, how can this be different? I would have done all her diets. I would have taken tons of supplements. And then my friend tells me about this product. And so that got me to question. But when I learned about it, that it was bioavailable, it dissolves and you drink it and it reaches the cells very quickly, that got me thinking. Because all the supplements that I was taking from this nutritionist was not being absorbed. And I found that out through a colonic irrigation. When I had a colonic irrigation, my therapist told me that she was removing remains of my vitamin pills. So, which was very, unfortunate, because I was spending a lot of money buying these supplements and I wasn't absorbing them. So when my friend told me about this particular supplement, that got me thinking. So I thought, well, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I could just give it a go. I did. And within the first month, I had an increase in energy by about 70%, which I hadn't seen since I had got that initial virus in my teenage life.
Can I just pause you for a
Yeah.
second?
Yeah.
Because we're going to come on to that, but I just want to explore, because I know a little bit, because obviously I know a lot about your story already.
Mm,
But there's a little point about the colonic irrigation therapist.
yeah.
Did she not say that, like, if that stuff had stayed in your system for much longer, it could have done you some damage?
Yes. It would have got lodged somewhere, and then grown into something.
Like maybe even a cancer or
Yeah.
something, right?
In
It could have.
fact, in fact, she removed something which was a blob of something with roots.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So then she said to me that, it could have been that I didn't absorb it, or broke it down in my digestion and absorb it, and it could have got lodged in between the in the colon. Yeah.
right. And here's the thing. So for the viewer, basically, could you imagine that Zeenat's been taking all of these vitamins, and think about your own experience as well. Are you taking a whole bunch of different types of products and you're not getting much more than, like, maybe, in Zeenat's case, 50% better, but still nowhere near where you'd like to be. But you're still taking this stuff. But could you imagine, rather than it helping you overall, it winds up giving you cancer, right? How terrible would that be? So, yeah, very, very interesting. Anyway, so then you discover, you hear about our products, you hear about how it's
Yes.
bioavailable, and then, as you say, you kind of got started with it, and within, yeah. So tell us again, around about how long was it after you started taking these products that you
Mhm.
started noticing a result?
Well, immediately in the first month. So the increase in energy was the first thing I noticed.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking because I thought, hang on a second, I haven't felt this energy for all these years that I'd even forgotten what it felt like to have energy, to be honest. That's how I felt. So I continued. And then over the next few months, my pain drastically reduced in my body.
Mhm.
The pain that I had in my spine, which I was told was wear and tear stage 4, was now no longer painful.
After how many
And
months, sorry?
after a few months.
After a few months. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that pain was so debilitating. It felt before like as if a big kitchen knife was stabbing me in my back. It would be affecting me while I was standing, walking, lying down, sitting in the car, driving. It would have been affecting me all the time. And the only solution they gave me was painkillers and anti-inflammatories, which I refused to take because of all the side effects that it could cause me. So when this pain started to go, I was like, wow, something is happening now. And I was due for a blood test around that time. So I went for a blood test, and actually my iron level count was so great, I was no longer anemic.
Wow. So you were anemic before as well? Yeah.
Exactly, for many years. In fact, all my adult life I was anemic.
Right.
Then I used to have vision losses prior to finding this out about this product. And the eye hospital in London couldn't help me. They couldn't give me an answer why I was losing my vision so much. So now I had no more vision losses. So it got me thinking that all these things were happening, and the only thing I was taking was this powder.
Would you mind, because, just in case there are viewers that might be suffering from similar symptoms,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit more about the vision losses and how that started manifesting in your life.
Well, I think the first time I had the vision losses was when my daughter was around 12 months old. So she was actually crawling towards me.
So, how long ago would that be then? How old
So
is
that
she?
would have been about 27 years ago.
Right, 27 years ago, you started having vision losses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And um, so I think I had, so she would have been about, well, she would have been about nearly 12 months. It would be about 26 years ago. And so she was crawling towards me. So we were playing, and she was coming towards me, and all of a sudden I couldn't see her. Everything went blank. It was one of the most scariest moments in my life for me.
And there were no clues leading up to this moment that there was
No,
problems with your vision.
no, absolutely not. So we went to the hospital because I said to my husband, we need to go to the A&E. My vision's gone. I cannot see. And a few hours later, the vision came back. So when by that time we were seen at the hospital, which took a few hours in the waiting, the vision had come back. So they decided not to do anything further. But then it happened again, and then again, and then I went back and I was referred to a neurology hospital who had done several scans and brain scans and you name it, done a lot of testing on me, and they couldn't figure out why that was happening. So now, by the time it was near to the time of finding out about this product, I was actually getting a vision loss every probably few weeks.
Wow, wow. So every
And
few weeks you just lose your vision.
so
And
so gradually over the years, the space of time in between the vision losses, it was getting closer and closer, and I was getting more vision losses, which was very scary because when it would happen, I could not see. I could the anxiety in my myself would rise, thinking when will I be able to see again? It stopped me doing things because I would just have to lie down.
How long would these periods last of not having vision?
Sometimes 2 hours, sometimes a few hours. So it could be almost a few hours of the day. And then it would return back, but it wouldn't return back like it used to be, like a clear vision. It would be a bit blurry. And it would have a painful, my eyeballs would be in pain. So that's what would happen as well. And I've had many checks up at the opticians as well. Nothing else was showing to show for this vision losses. And so I continued like this. And then what I would do after these vision losses, I would go for an acupuncture treatment to try and speed up the kind of circulation in my eyes, to maybe that could help me to see better. So they would treat me, they would give me some medicine, and it would take another few days
Hmm.
until I could see clear again.
And yeah, I mean, I imagine, I mean, how do you plan your life around, vision loss
I
that you
I
can't
had no
predict?
life. I had no life. I had no
Yeah.
social life. I couldn't go anywhere. If I went out, I'd be I'd be worried, um, fearful. I would also have no energy. So if I'd gone out, I'll just give an example. If I went to a wedding, I'll come back and I'll be so shattered. I'll be in bed for a few days.
Mm.
So when these vision losses were becoming a bit more, um, it wasn't nice. I couldn't see myself reaching, you know, aging healthily. The questions about my life, it made me feel like I couldn't do the normal things that I wanted to do with my family, to enjoy my family life.
As you said at the very beginning, you said about 20 years ago, you would not have imagined being here, enjoying your life today. So n now I really understand.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so you discovered our product around about, 12 years ago. You
yeah.
started taking them within the first few days, you had a massive increase in energy all of a
Mm.
sudden. And then within a few months, you were noticing all the pain subsiding in your back, which was debilitating pain, right? And then, so yeah, what was the impact on the site then?
On the site,
Yeah, on your vision. Yeah, your vision
vision,
losses.
yes. So after taking these products, I have had no vision losses for almost 12 years now.
Amazing.
So, I mean, I just appreciate my eyes so much more, my eyesight so much more, my health more. I don't have that pain in my spine anymore. I have energy. In fact, the last decade or so, I've been the most active that I've ever been in my life, to make up for all the time that I lost, to be honest. Um, I'm out and about, you know, I go to the gym, I have a social life, I have friends. Um,
You're going on holiday all the time.
I am traveling. I love the travel bit now, which is amazing. Whereas I had never had a holiday before, So my life has transformed. I'm a different Zeenat than I used to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're so grateful for it as well.
I'm just so grateful for myself, for my health, that I'm alive, I'm well, and it's all due to God, guiding me what to do. And that's why I'm so passionate that you are doing this interview, and that if we can inspire people to know more about it, then and change their lives too, that would be just the most amazing thing.
Zeenat, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean the interviews, there's a lot coming out actually in the interviews. It's really cool. And so for the viewer again, if you're really enjoying this interview, then please do leave a like and a subscribe. But also please do check in with some of the other interviews because there's all sorts of people talking about all sorts of conditions. And it's not actually the products that actually heal, that's actually doing the healing. It's actually just when the body doesn't have the right building blocks, which it used to be able to get from food, but it's just not present in the food anymore. But it is present in abundance in our products. So when the body gets those correct building blocks, it can heal from pretty much anything. So it's the body that heals itself, and that's why it works. So yeah, and here's the thing, Zeenat, how do you know that it's not just a placebo effect or something that you're experiencing?
Well, after having tried everything what I tried, and then it's only this product that kept me going. So when I started this product, I'd stopped taking anything else that I was taking before, just so that I know what's working and what's not working. And this is the only thing I'm taking now for the last almost 12 years.
Right, and you're still taking it.
Oh yeah, I would
Yeah.
not stop taking this, which has helped me to transform my life, to transform my health. And when you understand that the food that we're eating these days are not of the right nutrition because they're not grown correctly now, the soil is depleting. So when I understood this, it was important for me that I take it every day to bridge that gap in my diet. And I'm a vegetarian, so I've always been a vegetarian, and so I take this every day alongside my diet.
Thank you, Sina. I mean, also, because it's true, basically, if the food hasn't contained what it's supposed to contain for a long time, it isn't getting any better, right? It's not getting any better. If anything, it's getting even worse and worse and worse. So it's so important to really, really pay attention to what is putting in the body, right? Um, so yeah, amazing. And then uh right, so for what reason are you still taking the products? Obviously because the food's missing nutrition, but
Yes.
any other reasons?
Well, it gives me the energy that I need to do what I need to do every day, keeps me strong, keeps my bones and my muscles strong because I had never had muscles before. In fact, my muscles were so wasted from the lack of physical activity. I remember my Chinese herbal doctor, acupuncture doctor, telling me, she said, "Your muscles, you don't have any muscles." And so now I have muscles. I mean, I go to the gym and I've become stronger in myself. I don't have that pain, keeps my pain in management, and most importantly of all, having no vision losses. In fact, I had my eye test done, I think it was in December, and I hadn't been to the optician all through the lockdown. So my optician thought, and just as a normal kind of, I guess that's what they would think, that I hadn't been there for such a long time, and as I'm aging, that I would have increased in my numbers in my glasses. But he was amazed that my numbers had not changed from 4 years before, prior to lockdown. And the fact is that since lockdown, I'm on the screen way more than I used to be because everything went online, right? So for somebody who is aging, somebody who is on the screen for several hours a day, now gone back to the optician, and my numbers have not changed.
Yeah, so the eyesight is staying strong, but
Yes,
I gotta say, because I've seen the footage of you that you put on Facebook of you in the gym, and
yes.
honestly, I can totally attest. Zena is an absolute powerhouse. In fact, I do say to a lot of people, especially on this channel as well, when your name comes up, there's nothing about Zena that is what one would expect. Um, and of course there's the story of how we met as well, which I think is hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, so in fact, actually, if you don't mind, I'm just going to explain this for the viewers because it
All
is
right.
funny. Zeenat and I basically met at a business event where I was basically helping, and Zeenat was in the audience. And then there was an exercise where basically I was planted in the audience, and the audience were wandering around with with money out, and then I was tasked with kind of stealing people's money, right? So I happened to steal Zeenat's money. And almost immediately, this 59, 60-year-old woman just sort of like, just kind of like comes and chases me down, pins me up against the wall. And she's like, maybe a little bit, we're about the same height, but I mean, but I was really, really shocked at like just how strong you were. I was just like, whoa, what is going on here? Oi, give me my money back. Um, but actually,
I love the way you tell the story.
well, that's how we met, and it was hilarious, and that's how we met,
Yes.
and then we kind of kept in contact, right? And then
Yes.
the rest of it is history, isn't it?
Because when I understood why that exercise happened, because it was there to teach us about money beliefs and what we think about our money, and how important our money is to us and everything. And then when we sat and talked afterwards, of course we could laugh and then we exchanged numbers. So yeah, that's how we met, Mo.
But your strength for someone that is 59, that is your age,
Yeah.
is definitely different to what you say it was before.
Yes.
Absolutely, 100%. Okay, so I mean, we pretty much covered it. I mean, how do you think our product compares with all of the myriad other things that you tried?
Yes.
You don't do those things anymore, is what you said.
I don't take any of those other things anymore. I haven't seen a nutritionist for the last more than 12 years now. Um, I don't take any medications. My blood work is brilliant. In fact, my doctor said that my blood work, when my anemia got resolved and my iron count was so good, it was better than his. And today, when people see me, they cannot believe that I'm 59 going on to 60. In fact, I had an appointment at my hairdresser's, and I just recently changed my hairdresser to the one near to my home. So I saw her in September, just before traveling to Malta, and then she saw me for the second time last month. She could not believe how much my hair had grown, and she couldn't believe the condition of it. So she fell in love with my hair and how strong it was and how shiny it was. And then she said to me, "What is it that you're doing?" Because she said, first of all, you're 59 and your hair is looking so brilliant, and you wear hijab. And she said, a lot of women who wear hijabs don't have strong hair.
Mm.
They don't have very, very, the hair is very kind of thin and it can fall out a lot. But she said, your hair is just really something different. So then I said to her, this is what I drink every day, twice a day. And if you want to know about it, then I can share that with you. So that's how we got talking. And so even with the hair, the nails, the skin, um, everything is so much more better than it used to be. Yeah.
The hair, the nail, the skins, the energy, and also the quality of sleep, these tend to be the things that most people are saying in these interviews happens within like the first 30 days, right?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned sleep. If I tell you, before I needed so much sleep and I would be so not be with the energy, I wouldn't be waking up fresh or to be able to do with my day. Now I sleep much less because I've got the energy now to get up and start doing things, whereas I didn't before. So whereas
Because you're getting
before,
much better
yeah,
quality sleep. Yeah.
so whereas before I had to sleep, I had to have an afternoon nap. If I didn't have the afternoon nap or sleeps, then I wouldn't be able to function in the evening. Now it's no longer like that. Now I will have a nap because I want to have a nap, not because I have to have a nap. So that's the difference. And, I got so many more hours to my day now because now I don't need to sleep as much and I can be awake more. I can do more things. I can help more people. And that's the mission in my life now. I found a purpose in my life, which I didn't have before. And my purpose in life is to help to change as many people's lives as possible.
Amazing, amazing. And I know that that's what you live for as well,
Yes.
in the short time that we've known each other. Um, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, in fact, actually, for the viewer, if you want to meet Zeenat in person, and I strongly suggest that you do, then at the end of this video, there's a next steps video, and then in that kind of explains how you can get in contact with me, and I can put you in contact with Zeenat as well. Um, but yes, okay then. In that case, Zeenat, final question,
Mhm.
right? Um, Knowing what you know now at the age of 59 and how you feel right now, and how much you're enjoying life right now, what would you say to your, 20 something year old self that was in that much pain? And especially, as you're going into your 40s as well, having lived for 20 odd years with that condition, what would you say to yourself?
Wow, that's a question, to say to my younger self is to hang in there. There is hope. Because I just used to live each and every day without hope. I just thought I was going to die early or wished that maybe I was no longer here. I felt a burden on people. I felt a burden on my family, felt a burden on my husband because he did a lot of the care for me and looked after the home and the cooking and the children and everything. Just felt um, a burden on people. And I would just say to my younger self not to feel that way. There's hope. You can get better. Your body is an amazing healing machine. And, you know, there are things out there that can help you.
Yeah, basically, your body is an amazing healing machine, and it's just that it needs the right tools and the right
Right
things
fuel.
to function properly, right?
It needs the
Uh,
right fuel.
yeah, the right
Because
fuel.
you are you used to hear this statement before, you are what you eat. But I would say it's you are what you absorb. And
Yeah,
that's what I found in this product.
absolutely. Because if you're not even absorbing the stuff, if your body is not working efficiently, then it's just not working efficiently. I love that, Zena. Thank you so much. That
Hmm,
was excellent. So,
you.
any final words that you want to give to the audience before we before
Yes.
we leave it?
First of all, thank you, Mo, for inviting me, and I hope that we've inspired some people. But I would love to just say to people is age healthily. Put your health first over anything else because when you've got your health, you can have the joy and happiness in whatever you do in life. You can have joy and happiness in your job or your business or your family or raising your children. You can only have all the joy and happiness when you've got your health. So age healthily as much as possible so that you can be mobile, you can feel strong, you can feel independent, you can go out and do whatever you want to do. Don't let your health stop you doing things that you really want to do and to reach your goals in life because we only have one life and our life is short and we want to make the most of it. We want to enjoy every moment here whilst we're here and make that difference in people's lives. So that's all I can say is go and do whatever it needs to do, whatever you need to do to get as much energy and to age healthily. And that's something I know I'm experiencing myself, and that is aging healthily.
Age healthily. Thank you, Zeenat.
Thank you.
So bye for now then.
Bye bye.
How good was that interview? Now, if you're inspired by it, and if you know that there is somebody else in your life that really ought to watch this video, then please do forward it to them so that they can also be inspired by it and so that they can benefit from the hope that they're going to be able to get from it. Okay? This is why I'm doing this channel, because I want to bring to you all this knowledge of people who have got over these incredibly debilitating conditions that, you know, that normally people would just give up and think, well, that's actually just how my life's going to be now. You know, people that have wheelchair conditions like MS, multiple sclerosis, or, you know, fibromyalgia, or cancer, or, you know, psychiatric conditions even, or heart conditions, or diabetes, or eczema, or people suffering with long COVID right now. So many people suffering with long COVID right now. And, you know, in the case of my mum, she got over long COVID. That's how I know about this community of people and this product, you know, that they've been using, because it's an amazing product as well. It's a 35-year-old company. And the product itself doesn't actually heal the body, but it contains the right nutrition for the body to heal itself. You know, God has blessed us with a really beautiful physical body that, given the right building blocks and the right nutrition, basically it can detox and heal itself from pretty much anything, and the proof is in these interviews. So please do keep coming back and watch more interviews. And yes, and please do subscribe, because it really helps me to grow my channel as well. So I really appreciate it. I really want to help as many people as possible. I'm a care worker by day, and, you know, I see a lot of people with these types of conditions, but they're at the end of their lives, and I can't say a word because I'm representing a care company that has their own operating practices. But I feel so sorry for them because I know of something that could really help them. So please do, if you know people that have these conditions, let them know that there is hope, okay? If you want to find out more about our product and why it works, please click through to the video that is going to be linked here. Okay, so come back, watch more interviews. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.